G'day everyone, it's Curtis here and welcome to episode 5 of my CFMOTO 800MT-X build series. Now today we're going to talk about the previous mods I've done to the bike and how they are going, and also we've got 3 new mods to do to the bike. So the mods are, we have an ECU tune. I've had that done for a little while now, so I'll tell you about how the bike is running and what the results are from the tune. We have Moto's Desert HT tyres I put on. We'll talk about why I've chosen them specifically. And also we've got the AXP bash plate to put on. I think it's much needed if you're doing any serious off-road riding. First, we'll talk about the ECU tune. Now, Brett Simmons from Twin City Dyno Tuning has done it again. I was really happy with the 450MT tune he did. So he's done it again on the bike. Now, we'll just touch on how to get the ECU out and in. I haven't got any video of it, but let's talk about it. You gotta take the seat off and just take off this little section here. It's really easy to do. It just all pops off. Some people said you've got to take your side fairings off. I found you didn't. You just can pop them off and get them out of the way. Then the ECU is just here with your battery. So that is super easy to do and get out. Well, look, not super easy, a little bit fiddly, but much easier than I thought it would be. So let's talk about my thoughts on the stock fueling of the bike before I got it tuned. Frankly, I was getting really annoyed with the bike and was choosing not to ride it because of the fueling. At about 60 kilometers per hour, there's a real flat spot or lean spot, and it causes hunting and surging. So riding and cruising around town is like, it's extremely noticeable and very, very annoying. That was with the, before I did the decat and after I did the decat. It was a little bit better after I did the decat, but it was still really bad, guys, like unacceptable. Really smooth off the bottom and rev clean throughout the range. Another thing I've noticed is when you're riding on the street in standard mode, it's really limited. You would accelerate and it feels like your traction control is kicking in all the time. Like you got it pinned or you're winding on, it's just, mate, why not like going anywhere? And we'll explain why that is in a second. So Brett reached out to me again, I sent the ECU to him and he's done it. So I'm gonna read exactly what Brett has told me without giving away too many of his secrets. Number one, we'll start with power. In stock form, the bike had 84 rear wheel horsepower. It's now up to 91, so quite a big jump. It's also got more torque. Going back to what he said and how the bike was fueled from stock, in both cylinders 1 and 2, it needed as much as 23% more fuel. So it was way too lean at spots. And a big one he said to me is, do not run this bike with the decat if you don't tune it. It's too dangerous for the engine. It runs way too lean and you will eventually damage your engine if you don't do an ECU tune. In his words, there is not enough scope in the fuel trim limits of the ECU. So if you're running a decat, make sure you get your bike tuned. Another thing he did was, you know how I mentioned it felt really limited on the street? That's because of the torque mapping on the bike. It was really restricted. So what he's done is opened that up a lot and the bike feels much quicker on the street. Basically, you're just getting more power in the lower gears. He said even at some of the higher gears, it was still restricted in certain scenarios. So now you just get more power and I don't find the bike is overwhelmed at all. So how is it to ride? It is so much better. I've gone from not wanting to ride the bike, now choosing to ride this. It's really smooth. I wouldn't say it's got a lot more power. There's slightly more going on. It's definitely not limited, which is fantastic. But the bike just runs that bit smoother and pulls cleaner throughout the whole range. And the biggest thing is it doesn't have that surging anymore. There was a tiny bit there that I mentioned to Brett. You know, I'm pretty much the beta tester for you guys. There's a tiny bit there, but he said he's gonna fix that no problems at all. And I was a bit of a guinea pig for him. But I'm extremely happy with the tune. Thank you, Brett. So why have I gone with the Moto's Desert HTs? Well, I wanted to keep the bike tubeless and you're really limited when you do that. I could have gone with the Midas again. I really like the front. You know, the rear was okay, but I wanted to try something different. So you don't have many options. I think there was the Metzeler Extreme, but only the rear comes in tubeless, the front doesn't, so then I'd have to run a different front again. and then you pretty much Motos or Golden Tyre. And I haven't run these and I wanted to try them. It's going to suit the style of riding I'm doing. Full disclosure, I reached out to Motos and they supplied these tyres for free, which is absolutely fantastic, and they're going to try to support the channel. But I can say whatever I want about the tyres. One of the things I love about putting tyres on like this is it changes the look of the bike completely. It makes it look way more aggressive and purposeful. And on that note, the rear, it's comically large. It's so chunky. There's so much tread depth there. What's this dog doing? Just keeps walking in and out. Look, they're probably going to be loud in the street, but I'm happy to accept that. We'll do a review on them down the track, but I'm really keen to see how these go, especially since I'm an off-road focused rider. Another thing is, they're really easy to balance. I got the shop to do it because I'm just time poor at the moment, but they're like, mate, so easy to balance, which is fantastic. We'll see how they go. Nobbies can lose balance quite easily because you're taking chunks out here and there and they can wear unevenly, but we'll worry about that in the future. This comically large box is what the AXP bash plate comes in. It is ridiculous. Look at the size of that. That is outrageous. So why did I go with the AXP? Well, number one is weight. With the KTMs and CFMOTOs, you need a huge bash plate to cover the lower tanks. So the bash plates can get really heavy. Don't get me wrong, the B&B one looks trick as, and I love their gear. But I just wanted to try this one out. Another thing, this is really vain, is colors. It is black and white, and I'm trying to go for a black and white build. All right, let's have a look at the instructions, then I'll get the stock bash plate off, and then we'll get this sucker on. Looks like there's not too much involved, but looking in it, there's a lot of bolts, and I'll stick the foam in places. I don't know where yet, so hopefully it's all in the instructions, and then we'll try to get the sucker on. Step one is to fit this foam. Now, they're all a bit big, so I've just marked them with the pen after mocking them up. Then I'm gonna cut them and stick them onto here on each side, and then one in the middle. So this bit's been pretty easy. You just match everything to the pictures. It's a little bit fiddly, but you just take your time and it's not too bad to do. Just make sure you don't over tighten these. Over tighten one, you cannot get it out. All right, let's get this original skid plate off. I don't know if it's gonna be tricky, you know, we'll see. There's a wheel, there's a way. 2 bolts underneath. None of those on the other side, and a couple on the front as well. One under here as well. 4 on the bottom, looks of it. Okay, that actually came off really easy. There's a fair few bolts, but it slipped off quite comfortably. Now, I have to take off this bolt here on the rear peg, and then we replace it with a different bolt by the looks of it from the AXP kit. Okay, it is the next morning. Why has it taken me so long to do this? Well, number one is I have kids, and number two, this bolt here. I wasn't able to get it out, so I soaked it with WD-40, and then I wasn't able to get it out with my little torque set I had. It was bending it, so I had to go and buy a big set, and that got it out, but it was really tight. The Chinese man who put this bike together used a lot of Loctite and used all these muscles to do everything up. Which is good, I suppose, but not when you want to undo things. So it took me absolutely forever to undo that. Anyways, we've got it out. Now it's time to put on the bash plate, and hopefully it's not too bad. This, well, what it looks like, goes into here. It sits in there loosely. Then we got 2 bolts at the front, then 1 on the other side. This bit is incredibly awkward, everyone. I'm just trying to line up the holes. Like I'm nowhere near it. Mate, nowhere near. So in a classic case, things are a lot harder than expected. Some of the bolt holes just aren't lining up because number one, this bit of plastic is touching the side stand, so I can't get it back just that tiny bit more. I might have to just shave a bit off that. And the front bolts have been really hard to line up, so I've got this jack here to hold it, and I'm trying to just force it pretty much. It's really close, but I just might have to take it off and shave just a tiny bit there with a grinder or a file. I got it on, but man, I had to use the jack, get that just in the right position, then I had to do this just slightly with my hand, and then use the Allen key and the other. It was pretty difficult. Another set of hands would definitely help because it's just takes a bit of maneuvering. Now we're gonna get the front bolts. I recommend doing the fronts first, but I'm just doing it my way. Tell you what, this has been a bit tricky as well. Just getting everything square, making sure you don't strip bolts. Tricky. Okay, last part. Looks like it sits like that. So there we have it, everyone. Bash plate is on. Tyres have been installed and the ECU has been flashed. Very happy with the ECU flash so far. We'll see how it is off-road. The tyres, as I mentioned, haven't used them before, so we'll see how they go in the coming video and with a bit more riding. The bash plate, it certainly looks the goods. It was a bit fiddly to fit by myself. Definitely recommend getting an extra set of hands there if you're trying to do it, just to square everything up. But certainly looks like a high quality bit of kit, and it's pretty light. I think it's 4.5 kilos, about that for the whole thing. It's absolutely massive. One thing, I thought there'd be some white stickers on the side to kind of complete my build, so I might have to do that myself. Maybe put a little bit of white down the bottom there and a little bit of white somewhere on the rear, just to really, you know, complete the look of the bike. If there's anything else you'd like to see me do to the bike, put it in the comments down below. And also, if you'd use the Moto's Desert HTs, let me know what you think of them in the comments down below. Always like tyre chat. All right, well, next video is going to be an off-road focus video. Been looking forward to that one for a long time. Really keen to see how the tyres perform. They certainly look the business. All right, if you haven't, please check out the build series on this bike and my other videos. We've also got some other reviews and other bikes coming up, which I think you guys will be very interested. All right, keep it on the back wheel, everyone. Click the subscribe button. Catch us.